Today, a friend of mine was talking to me about her depression, and then she said something like that she hoped she wasn't bringing me down. And I said, like, I appreciate that, like, thoughtfulness, but you're not bringing me down. Like, I'm not just saying that to, like, make you not worry. Like, I really don't struggle with that very much anymore. I think for most of my life, I thought that, like, if people talked to me about their sadness or showed me their anxiety, that the reason I started feeling that too was just what empathy was. And I definitely have some hypervigilance related to other people's moods. I kind of by default feel responsible for other people's moods in response to like growing up in the type of household where like the most dysregulated person's mood impacted everybody else. But despite that being like a lifelong experience for me, it's was really quite easy for me to kind of stop doing that, at least to such like a detrimental degree. And also, at least with people who aren't super close to me, I definitely still struggle with feeling responsible for my husband's emotions too much, but that's because he's my person. And really, for me, what helped me to stop absorbing like everybody's emotions was just realizing that it isn't based in empathy, it's based in what I was making myself responsible for. So, like, if people would tell me about how they were feeling sad, I felt responsible for making them happy. And I didn't really even realize that. I thought, again, that like anybody who experienced empathy would want to make people feel better. And like, of course, it's unfortunate to see people struggling, and so it makes sense to wish that things could get better for them. But like wishing that they could feel better or hoping that they feel better is different from like I feel like I have to help them feel better. So much of the kind of emotional burden that I used to experience was almost eliminated as soon as I realized that if I just walk into a conversation that involves somebody sharing their emotions with me or just like me kind of picking up on their emotions, by reminding myself that I don't have to fix this. And 99% of the time, they don't want me to fix it. They're not asking me to fix it. Like, they're just sharing to share. And I used to like spend so much time like while people were talking to me trying to like brainstorm solutions for them, but then I almost never shared them because I knew that like unless somebody's directly asking you for advice, it's usually not a great idea to give advice. And so I would like ruminate over trying to problem solve for them and then almost never would share those ideas with them anyway. So I was just spending all of this mental energy on feeling like, oh, I got to find a solution for them and then not giving them the solution. And like in hindsight, I just wasn't a good listener because I felt like I had to fix things for them or make them feel better. And like one of the things that I feel particularly bad about is I used to do like the silver lining thing. So like somebody would share what they're struggling with and I would reply like, "Yeah, but at least this," or "but also this part isn't so bad." And like that was so invalidating. Like I didn't realize I was being so invalidating. I really thought if I can just point out the good parts, maybe they can like lean into the good parts and that will help them feel better. And yeah, I wish I didn't do that. Um but I didn't know. Um and so now I really try not to give silver linings and I tend to just like ask them questions to kind of like give them space to talk and that's kind of it. Really it works fairly well. Like I definitely still fall into these traps sometimes. Like I said, especially if my husband is struggling, like he's a particularly hard one for me. But the vast majority of other people, the vast majority of other situations, I can just do so much less like emotional absorbing. And it's really nice to not be spending my emotional energy for no good reason. And the other thing is, I think I would have thought to not absorb would be to lose empathy or to not care. And it doesn't at all feel like I care less. It really is just, I care, but it's not my responsibility. So all I can do is sort of empathize and validate unless they like ask for advice or ask for help. But for the most part, my job is just to listen. It's not to take responsibility for other people's stuff.